Mind Ascension here. As usual, in the think tank with one of the young gods, the young kings here. I always look forward to talking to my brothers that's on another level of thinking and mindset. So I'm able to pull certain things out of my subconscious and we can expand on certain subjects that are not stuck on the surface. Because we have a tendency to live on the surface and be entrapped in normal, common, so-called problems that we don't understand come from a source. So when I do these videos, if you notice, or anybody that watch my videos, they're very random. They go all over the place. We touch on all type of topics from metaphysical, universal shit, certain sciences, ancient history, even relationships and common aspects. But you know, I look forward to times like this with brothers like you who are vibrating at a slightly higher level to where we can talk about things that people are not normally thinking about, but that affects them on a daily basis. So on that note, my brother, let's expand on something that's either on your mind or we were just referring to.
Definitely. Yeah, my thing is a lot of times, you know, you be around your friends, your guy friends or whatever, and you know, we talk about women and stuff and they often get into arguments or complain and stuff like that. You ever notice how you get angry or you get mad with them and your voice gets higher?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that back up. I'm so glad you brought that back up. The fact of the matter is tones cause and change certain frequencies and vibrations in all forms of existence. Perfect example. I don't know if you ever heard of the study. There was a Japanese scientist who did a study about water where he spoke certain things into the water and then froze the water. And the water actually, when he put the frozen water under a microscope, there was specific configurations and forms of symbols in the water depending on the word he spoke into it.
Oh.
Now, when he spoke negative things in the water, everything was jagged and mismatched. When he spoke positive things into the water, it was all matching and beautiful, like snowflakes and stuff like that. The point of the matter is, it's an absolute fact that every word you speak, and you can't speak a word without a sound.
That's true.
And every tone has a form of frequency that affects the vibration of the word that you speak. This is why words are spelled and are spells. That's why you spell a word. See, you want to hit me, right? I know you want to hit me. But this is a fact, though. No, this is a fact. Now, we can see, the problem is I'm always talking about using intelligence and observation because people are always asking me, what's a good book for this? Where can I get a book on this? Books on this, books on that. By all means, I read a lot of books. I study a lot of things, but I do still understand and understand that long before the first book came intelligence and observation.
Yes.
Long before anybody had to write. And by the way, writing came from a fall. Writing is not a high thing. Writing is a falling thing because at a certain point in time, you were telepathic. Right. At a certain point in time, you need to write shit. And as a matter of fact, I'll give you the proof that we fell because the first highest forms of writing we did was pictures, not letters. Think about it. A picture can give you 1,000 words, but a letter can barely give you a sound.
So it was like we went from hieroglyphics and all that stuff
to even lower shit.
I get it because that stuff that we probably see now, that's like, yo, what the hell is that? How did we read that?
Think about it. I have to put, your name is Quran. Is this Koran?
Kher.
Okay. Now you got to put 5-6 letters together just to make a 2-syllable sound. When I can literally give you one symbol, let's use this for example, the feather. In ancient Medu Neter or hieroglyphics, the correct is Medu Neter. The feather, which represents Ma'at, which represents justice, truth, reciprocity, peace, harmony. All these different things you see from that one feather. You see what I'm saying? So the Ankh. I draw the Ankh on the wall. What's the Ankh? The Ankh represents the uterus. The Ankh represents the penis, the child, life, creation, all of that. Everything. You see what I'm saying? So back to the tones. Now, once again, if we utilize intelligence and observation, we can literally watch someone become upset, driven by emotion, and watch their voice break.
It kills me.
Into a higher pitch. Now, what does this mean? if we notice and we study certain aspects of what they like to refer to as yogas and chantings and Indian, all of this stuff, which is all settled by the African Ethiopian Kushites, but they like to ignore that because they don't ever like to give you credit for anything. So they'll go to India, they'll go to China, they'll go all over the world, and they'll stay in a little box of Egypt, which Egypt is the great grandchild of Nile Valley civilization and Nubia and Meroe and all of that, but we ain't gonna go into that. But the fact of the matter is, their tone and pitch is changing based on the frequency of the feminine or masculine energy they're utilizing at the time. Now, when I talk about feminine and masculine energy, I'm not talking about homosexuality or heterosexuality. I'm talking about the fact that the feminine and masculine are forms of energy and polarities to each other.
That's true.
Every man, just like we said earlier, every man possesses a portion of feminine energy within him.
Of course.
Because your mother and your father made you. And then on top of it, we all come from women.
So that's propelling to you.
It's in you naturally. On top of that, every existence of human form starts out as a double X. You degenerate into a Y. Now look at a Y. What is a Y? Look at it carefully. It's a broken X.
It is.
It's a broken X. You see what I'm saying? Right. This is another reason why man has created degeneration as an aspect of woman, which is why you don't possess high emotion. You don't possess high intuition. You don't possess all the things that we call women crazy for having today. The only reason why they're crazy is because why? We live in a patriarchal society where we worship the penis. Where it's the God, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Where the hell am Mama at? Right. While Adam and Eve running around with umbilical cord with belly buttons. Where the Mama at? You see what I'm saying? Right. And then they want to shun Eve as being the mother of all sin for biting the apple which came from the serpent who represents wisdom. Because in our culture, the serpent represented wisdom and regeneration. But in their culture, they made the serpent the devil.
Evil.
You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand everything they taught us is in reverse. Now, as usual, I'm going everywhere, but let's go back to the tones. No. The fact of the matter is, anybody, man or woman, when they tap into an emotional feeling or emotional experience and aspect and that emotion begins to drive and raise within them, what happens? Their tone goes to a higher pitch. Now, what I'm about to say can be researched. The man runs off A flat. The woman runs off A sharp. That's our frequencies. Okay. By the way, if you look at a symphony or a chorus, when you are dealing with, like, you know, what do they call them? The conductors that run the choruses. You have the altos, you have the sopranos, and I forget the other portion.
Basically a whole orchestra.
But they all come together in harmony.
Yes.
The deep tones work together with the high tones, creating a harmony. And this is what man and woman does together, because her frequency is A sharp. Your frequency is A flat. You dig what I'm saying? Now, let's take it further. Notice how either the homosexual or the highly feminine man, for some strange reason, they have a high tone naturally. They're either soft-spoken or their tone is just, for some reason, is strangely high.
Right.
Because, like I said upstairs, the natural balance of us as human beings possessing both principles of the feminine and masculine is 70 to 80, 20 to 30, or in the woman, vice versa. So as a man, you have the degree between 70 and 80% masculinity. So meaning that you are here to be at least 70 to 80% logical. That's why every time, if you notice, when you think of something, you put it in a logical perspective in your mind and you analyze it, and then you come up with a form of solution. You ever notice how when a woman is having a problem and she tells you the whole story and there's a whole bunch of unnecessary shit in there, but you're still listening? And then you analyze everything in your head and you go, well, okay, baby, well, listen. If you do 1, 2, and 3, then 4 won't exist. Oh, you don't understand. You're not listening. Because a lot of times she's not displaying or conveying the message or problem for you to solve it. Right. She's conveying it to express and vent what she has to let out within herself, which is her 80% emotion.
Yep.
And we should know, see, real men know this. I know your pops know this, and real old school men know this. You never, ever argue with a woman.
No.
Because logic and emotion will never mix. And by the way, I made a post on my Instagram about this. Whatever she feels is right. Perfect example. If you say you hot right now, and I say I'm cold right now, who's right or wrong?
We're both right. You can't say, yeah.
Because it's what you feel. You could be sweating in 20-degree weather.
I can't tell you not.
You see what I'm saying? But if I say there's 2 pair of shoes on the floor and you look and there's 1 pair of shoes, who's right or wrong? I'm wrong. Because logically, there's not 2 pair of shoes. There's 1. So that's a lie. So one thing we have to stop doing is trying to enforce logic onto women. We have to speak with an emotional vocabulary. And going back, because I know I'm going off the tone. Let me knock out the tones real quick. The tone is connected to frequency, vibration, and feeling. Right. Feeling in itself is a vibration, because when you're mad, you get hot.
That's true. It's so true. Your ears turn red.
When you're having so-called sex, you get hot.
True.
Passion is hot. Anger is hot. Frustration is hot. These are hot feelings. You see? But when you're sad, you cry. You release water from your body. You see what I'm saying? Certain feelings and certain emotions have different ranges of vibration and frequencies, therefore changing the tones that emit from your body.
So true.
So if you speak, why you ever see somebody speak when they were like really low and sad and depressed? And they were like, nothing. That's a deep voice. But when somebody's either angry or extremely excited, it's a high tone. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because tones are dictated and predicated upon the frequency that your body is vibrating at the time. So therefore, even in my videos, people will hear me talk, and when I get excited, my tone goes high. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's the tones that are being dictated by the vibration and the excitement and the emotion that you're feeling at that moment in time. You see, so at the end of the day, the tone. And this is a good thing for women, because women can use this. And by the way, women already feel this and know this, because sometimes they'll be on the phone with a nigga and they'll be like, I don't know what he said, but his voice was just, I don't know. He just got that sexy voice. Some women like accents just because the accent is naturally deep.
Right.
They don't even know what the person's saying, but just because the accent has a deep tone to it, they fall in love.
Most do, yes.
You dig what I'm saying? Some women get turned off because the man's tone is too high.
I hear that all the time too.
You dig what I'm saying?
I'll tell you that.
Now, that goes into another perspective, the fact that tones can affect another individual. Mm-hmm. Because I can literally get on the phone and say, hey, how you doing, baby? You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit, you got to stop it. You're making me mad. You know what I'm saying? And I could be talking about chicken wings or some shit. You dig what I'm saying? It don't matter. Because it's not me. It's not my words. It's the tones that is activating a vibrational feeling inside her that causes what? Passion.
Yeah.
You see, she start getting hot, start getting moist, all of that stuff. Yeah. So on that note with the tones are universal. And this is why music is the so-called universal language. When I say music, I'm not talking about music with words. I'm talking about the fact that there's people that can listen to music that they don't understand the language, but literally vibrate to the tones and the sounds and the so-called beats of the song.
Right.
There's certain music that can literally heal your body, and this is fact. Or even better, and I'm sure you heard this before, there's certain music that can make a plant grow faster.
I was about to say, I don't know if you heard this guy. He's forgot his name, but I never forget this. He was singing. Yeah. But it didn't sound like a regular song. Mm-hmm. It was sounds. It was birds chirping. It was the humming of it was the sound. It was the sound of Mother Nature, the sound of Gaia, what you would say. And I found that crazy. And the energy that the audience had was none that I've ever seen before. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I'm not hearing words. I'm not hearing specific things that were said. I'm hearing
mm-hmm. Speaking on that, since you brought that up.
Yeah.
Europeans look at the opera as some type of prestige, high class
That's true.
Performance and event. What we don't understand, because we don't study enough, the Moors created the opera symphony. Mm-hmm. The Moors created the masquerade party, but we're not going to go on that because I don't have to deal with tones. But the opera in itself, what's the opera? They're not even saying nothing. They just all they're doing is hitting in multiple different heights and lows of tones that are vibrating with the audience. And Mind Ascension here. As usual, in the think tank with one of the young gods, the young kings here. I always look forward to talking to my brothers that's on another level of thinking and mindset. So I'm able to pull certain things out of my subconscious and we can expand on certain subjects that are not stuck on the surface. Because we have a tendency to live on the surface and be entrapped in normal, common, so-called problems that we don't understand come from a source. So when I do these videos,